Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Aaron with HEX Life and Style. So I just wrapped up episode number 12 with my buddy Nick of Warren Company. Nick and I jumped into a lot of different things, but we focused on how he got started in the vintage industry. We talked a lot about his collection of UK and Kentucky Derby t-shirts, which he displays a lot. This is definitely one you're going to want to watch via YouTube. And we also talked about him owning a shop here in Lexington, how that went over, and then what he's currently doing in the Louisville, Nashville, and the Lexington market. So grab your drinks, sit back, and enjoy episode number 12. Yeah, episode number 12 with my buddy Nick of Warren Company.
One saw me down, none yet. Hit me drinking that moonshine. Hit me higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So we're trying this again. This is my second in-person interview as far as podcast interview. We did this once before a few weeks ago, and somehow the video got messed up, so we lost everything that we had done previously. So we're back at it again, part two, and we're doing it outside, so you may hear some distractions here and there, but for the most part, hopefully you can hear us.
It was a great day. We had to. We could have been inside, but why not?
Yeah, like my neighbor, she's watering right now, so, and sounds like there's a mower coming, so there may be some distractions. But I'm with Nick of Warren Company, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we'll kind of get started into some just kind of talking shop about vintage, how he got started, and some trends and some things like that we currently see going on. So
appreciate it, Aaron. I'm originally from Lexington, Kentucky. I've lived here most of my life. I kind of went away to school in high school, and then I've ended up back here. And since I've been back, I've really tried to involve myself in the vintage scene as much as possible. I'm sure some of you have met me at flea markets, running around with a bag over my shoulder, trying to look at everything before anybody else can. But hey, that's just part of the game, and it's fun, and that's why we're both here still doing it.
So in the first interview, we talked a little bit about, as kids growing up, your mother was from Mount Sterling, correct?
Yep.
Your family's from Mount Sterling?
Mount Sterling.
Okay. Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. We talked about court days, and that's kind of how I got my feel of, really trying to find unique pieces and cool and different things and really take it back and collect it.
I mean,
so talk about that.
So my grandmother lived up the hill from Court Day, and we would park cars $5 a car. And after the lot was full, she'd give me $10 to go run down and go check out Court Day and see what I could find. And at that time, I was buying, rubber band guns, BB guns, and baseball cards. I had a huge collection of those at the time, and just kind of going through and the hunt. And my mom always taught me, see what their lowest offer will be. Don't show them your money. Don't tell them you got $10 to spend. Say, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
So, and I'd walk around with her, and her friends were buying, artwork and signs, and furniture, and kind of stuff that they were painting to make fit into their house, and like finding something old and making it new. But it was fun being able to just be free and run around and dig through these flea markets, because as kids, we got in some trouble, found some pretty cool things. One of us go home with a knife, and we were supposed to have one on accident, but
that was always the thing. My parents would go on the weekend, but I can remember missing school on Monday to go to court days. And like you said, throwing stars, knives,
knives.
You name it. I tried to come
Nike, everything bootleg.
Yeah.
Airbrush t-shirts, turkey legs.
And see, I can remember the bootleg Bart Simpson t-shirts and Jordan Flight t-shirts and stuff that are super popular now. I can remember those as a kid.
It's really fun seeing the fashion of when I was a kid, kind of mid-90s, late 90s growing up. It's really kind of full circle, the brighter colors, the all-over prints, that it's totally adapting to from what I even started collecting in vintage as well.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. So talk about kind of what, for people who don't know, Nick used to have a store front in Lexington, Kentucky, and the store was awesome, man. I loved it. But talk a little bit about that journey, and talk about kind of what kind of came about for you to close the shop, and with maybe the scene not necessarily fully being here in Lexington just yet.
Yeah, definitely. I guess, when I was in high school and college, I was definitely more in college. I spent a lot of time around a vintage store. I got to help photograph it, and I would check every day, every other day for new things that they had. And then just traveling and being from Lexington, you kind of see a difference. There are a lot more vintage stores in other towns, and Lexington didn't have what I felt was a dedicated vintage store for college age to mid 30s, and still providing some stuff for mid 40s people as well. So I tried to make a men's store and a lifestyle store and vintage store all in one, and it was fun. For the 3 years that we were open, I had a great time with it. I learned a ton, and as you said, maybe Lexington wasn't ready for it. Maybe not, but I still think while I had the store, all the people I met and the newer buyers that were just coming up and younger kids that were becoming interested in it, for me, made it all worthwhile. Just meeting them and having the store. All the people I met over the time definitely makes having a store fun, but it definitely has some work to it, and another side to it that can be a lot, especially for a new business owner. So I kind of learned and found out that I was doing better targeting what I was wanting to sell to different markets. Not everything I wanted to sell was working in Lexington. Some would work more in Louisville, some would be better posed to Nashville. So I took the option to close the store and step back and just focus on consignment and focus on what I like best, and what I like to buy, and sell to the customers that I like dealing with. So that's why I took that route instead.
Yeah.
And things have changed too. Social media has pushed a lot of the vintage out to make it so that you can operate from home and not need a storefront too.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps from an overhead perspective. Probably frees you up a lot more to be able to go, do what your passion is, which is hunt and
it's
interact,
a tough sweet spot to try and find. Spending the amount of time that you want to be there. I was there a lot. I lived there. I slept there before multiple times. If we had new inventory coming in, we had to stay up and tag everything. That's what we do. But yes, finding that balance between being able to buy, being able to run the store, have the staff that's knowledgeable and can help you as much while you're gone too, was key. So.
Well, I hated to see it go, because like I said, I loved it, but but I think you're right. I mean, I think having the ability to be more in different areas and different markets, and then really have the ability to go out and network more in different markets, I think that is helpful for you. So talk a little bit. You've been in Nashville now since kind of
January. Officially, yeah.
Okay.
Full time.
So talk a little bit about that. How's that going in Nashville?
So in January, I was invited to set up at High Class Hillbilly, which is a great shop. It was one of the first stores that I even did a pop-up at in Nashville. So the relationship started pretty early. I started going down to the Nashville flea market as a regular to sell, and I met a lot of good people, started finding things that I was selling, or that wasn't selling in Lexington, was easily selling in Nashville. So it was a good way to shift the inventory and move some stuff down there. And the relationships were great. I made a lot of friends, and in turn sourced a lot to bring back here to Lexington and Louisville from there. So the new relationship is going great. I'm really happy with it. I put a lot of stuff in there. I mean, I probably have 600-700 items in the store that we're just trying to rotate, and I'm adding every week.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine Nashville obviously has such a different scene than both either Lexington or Louisville.
Very much,
with all the musicians and the stylists and things like that being down there and working with some of them. Have you had a chance to do that much?
Yeah, even just this last weekend, met a new stylist, sold an item to her, and she sent me out looking for a few other things for the future. and in High Class Hillbilly, they get in a lot of stylists, so that helps. But even at the Nashville flea market, every type of person was out there. Musicians, stylists, store owners, buyers for clothing labels, you name it. I mean, you have no idea. Or, someone that's just looking for that one special shirt or a piece of clothing you've got. There were a lot of really great people there. Still are.
What about online? Do you do much online?
I do, now that I will say a little bit less now that I've switched to having some dedicated items in consignment. Nashville, I'm on their social media through them. And then personally, I will post for the domestic and Florida fleet.
Yeah.
But that's it. Sales have been pretty good online, actually. It's been more of a shift to that, more with the lack of flea markets and shows for people to vend at. I definitely see a lot of people doing live videos and showing a rack of shirts to sell for an hour, and that's been entertaining. I mean, I've found some great stuff that way.
And I think that's all with everything that's gone on with the quarantine and stuff. It's kind of pushed people out of their comfort zone a little bit and made them try to sell in a different way.
Yeah.
And I know some of the a couple of the shops in Louisville, they went online where they'd never been online before, and both of them said that it's like having a whole other store.
Yeah.
And that it's been very impactful for their business from that standpoint, which I think is great. I think the more eyes you can get on stuff, obviously, the more chance you'll have to sell it. But I think too, the cool thing about mentioned about going live. I mean, I know I've had this conversation with other people who resell. When you can kind of tell the story and paint the picture of the shirt.
Yep.
In your own words, I mean, it really helps add, I think, value to what you're showing. Whereas a picture, sometimes people will see it and they've seen that shirt before, posted before, but they don't know the story or the history behind it.
Right. I definitely think that in posting, it's been broken down to a few levels. You've got the flat lay item, which can be posed many ways as a flat lay or hanging, and then the modeled photograph, seeing it on someone. And then now, I mean, it's definitely changed into a video. Someone may be wearing it, someone may just be showing it on a rack, but you get to see the fabric, see the item, see it in comparison to something else. Does it grab your attention when the person holds it up? Maybe that's why. Who knows?
I love your shirt. I've got the same shirt.
I know, and I had to find it because you had it.
We talked about it numerous times. I love it. Like I said, yours is a lot.
Great.
Yours is broken in a lot more than mine, and I wish mine's like almost dead. What was dead stock?
Yeah,
I don't think it ever been worn, but I like the worn in look a little bit more. So talk about your love for Kentucky stuff and things like that. Do you look mostly for yourself for that kind of thing, or do you feel like that's just something that really obviously it sells well in this market?
I mean, both. It's definitely I'm in the right place to be selling University of Kentucky Wildcats gear. It's Big Blue Nation. There's so many followers. I have created fan base friends through social media in DC, New York, Florida, Tennessee, and I feel like they look at the Lexington accounts to find their Kentucky stuff. Me personally collecting, it's all nostalgia. 96 basketball team, 98 team, and then a lot of the graphics. I like art, like if someone has drawn a drawing like the Dream game, the original rivalry U of L UK games. Yeah. Those are fun because they're a drawing. And I collect the larger Wildcat, old Nike, old Champion.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll show you a few here.
You brought a bunch of
brought a few.
I'm the same way. I like I've never been a huge fan of like the national champions T-shirts. I'm more about the ones that were a little more unique.
Yeah.
From that perspective. I do like, you mentioned the rivalry. So I remember the game. I like the Game 1 shirt, and I don't have it still.
Okay.
So I had it as a kid. I'd like to try to find it again.
Game 1 Dream game.
No, the Game 1 football between when they reestablished the rivalry.
Yeah.
I think it was 93, maybe. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's got the football field, and it's got the Cardinal helmet and the Kentucky helmet, and it says Game 1. Yeah, so I have a couple of the glasses from that game because I was at that game. So I have a couple of the glasses, but I don't. I had the shirt, man. It's gone. I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, like as for the '96, I remember when the bus drove in and the banners. So my favorite shirt that I have is the one with the new banner hanging and Rubberita on the inside.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one.
I didn't bring it. But yeah, I'll show it to you.
That's
but
cool.
no, I mean,
that's cool.
I remember sitting up in my parents' kitchen watching on the smallest TV late at night when the bus got driven in and they played "We Are the Champions" and just all that. This nostalgia to me. This Tino shirt. I don't know a lot of people buying Tino stuff, but to me that was Coach growing up.
Because we grew up, with Patino in that position, and of course he kind of lost his mind when he took off and went to Louisville.
Yeah,
but,
no, right.
But other than that, so talk about that. So let's talk about the nostalgia aspect of this. So what is it more of for you? Is it more about finding the things that bring back the memories from when you were a kid, or is it more about just finding the uniqueness or the is it the excitement of the hunt? Like, I got this shirt, I found this shirt, and
Sure. I mean, the hunt is definitely majority of it for me, but the nostalgia is there. I do think I also look for stuff I may have worn. There's a few pieces that I've actually have photographs of me wearing when I was younger that I'm still looking for. I mean, one of them I have found. I used to always wear a baby blue and white Coca-Cola rugby shirt.
Yeah.
Now have one. I think I have a few colors now.
Yeah.
Great. If you ever own one, they're so comfortable. I had another shirt. I still haven't found it yet, but it's an overalls shirt. And it looks like you're wearing a pair of overalls. And it says, this is my Tennessee shirt. But I've found a few of them and ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
Something I wouldn't have ever expected. So, but it was just like a roadside tourist piece from somewhere in Tennessee.
Yeah. And they had those, I can remember from here all the way to Pigeon Forge.
Right.
Every little truck stop you would stop in, they would have something like souvenir T-shirts and hats.
Yep.
Had I known what I know now, I would have just bought all of them. But now you can't find them.
And the gas stations still have those tacky T-shirts now. A lot of the Feel the Wind and stuff like that.
And the trucker hats and things like that. Yep. Well, I tell you, one of the things you mentioned there on the Coca-Cola rugby. So I had a couple of Coca-Cola rugbies as a kid, but I tell you what, something I found recently that I don't see a lot of is a Pepsi rugby. Mm-hmm. So I've not seen very many of those.
I found a Chevrolet one.
Did you?
Recently, yeah.
That looks just like the Coca-Cola rugby.
Just like it, and it's baby blue.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I've not found, I knew that the Coca-Cola rugbies existed, and I had, like I said, one as a kid. I think mine was blue and yellow, like royal blue and yellow.
That's popular one.
But I'd never seen a Pepsi one, so I remember I picked that up. It's been a couple months ago, and I think I sold it. I can't remember.
Pepsi collectibles. Pepsi is usually more pricey. It fetches more money than Coca-Cola.
Yeah, because the Coca-Cola just
so much of it.
They just put so much of it out there. I mean, they put it on anything and everything. So, and I'm a Pepsi guy anyway. So not too many people are. But if I'm going to drink a pop between Coke and Pepsi, I'm going Pepsi because I like the sweetness of it.
I might have an old Pepsi shirt to show you.
Yeah. So I like the, I like all of the 80s, and that's kind of my style anyways. I like the 90s stuff. I like a lot of the band T-shirts, but for the most part, the 90s stuff's really hard for me to really get into just because I just had it as a kid. I remember wearing it all the time. And, I think I would look kind of crazy running around here with with certain shirts at my age. No, I wear that one all the time. But I guess, like things like this, the NCAA championship in Rupp Arena, although Kentucky wasn't even in it.
Right. That's what my parents met.
I love the memorabilia aspect of it, and I can remember it taking place. So that's kind of the cool thing. But like the Jordan T-shirts with Bugs Bunny and stuff, they're so popular.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the front and back Bugs Taz with the backwards clothing. Who was that? That's
Crisscross.
Crisscross.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I
Got the
remember
poster
that,
on the shirt.
but I couldn't pull that off today.
No,
There's no possible way.
No.
But I remember it, and it's cool to have, like, to look at and think about. But and one of the cool things too is my son is really kind of getting into a lot of that. So, like my old champion jerseys and stuff I had as a kid, I kept.
Good.
So I have those, and he wears them and enjoys them, and so and a lot of some of the old Nike stuff. But so talk a little bit about what's kind of on the plate now. What moving forward? What are some ideas and some business things that you've got going, or maybe you can't really give us all the details, but kind of tell us what's going on.
Moving forward, actually, in Louisville, I've shared the space that I had a store in Louisville with River City Retro. It's a great guy, Addison, and partners with Alex sometimes. They sell mid-century modern furniture. And I've done a lot of shows with them, and I was selling a little bit more furniture a few years ago, picking it up a little bit more, furniture and smalls, but they're planning on opening a store downtown Louisville sometime this summer.
Okay.
Can't really say when, but so that's in progress, and honestly, not really sure. Nashville's kind of just gotten back open, so getting back down there more. I'd like to hopefully see some events planned, some flea markets and shows like that to get on the schedule. But
what are you hearing with that? Have you heard much
June
about?
Is canceled for Nashville. Yeah, I think some of the big markets, potentially Brimfield in September is going to happen. I know Friendship Flea Market was canceled. That's going to happen in September. Burlington, that I think.
That's next weekend.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are they having it?
That's what they said. It says on their website.
That's another one coming up. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot going on. I mean, my plan is just kind of continue to get out and buy as I can. I've been lucky to have quite a few private buys lately.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's keeping me going.
Do you find that a lot of people are getting out of this industry a little bit, or maybe they've hung on to collections for a long time and they're just ready to kind of, let that stuff go?
I haven't really noticed, or nothing's really, struck my attention that anyone that's a friend of mine has gotten out of this. After all, coronavirus, Nashville, tornado, just current status, economic status, I haven't really noticed anyone step back. For a while, I started to see more stuff available. There was a lot more lower priced items to buy.
Yeah.
So that
I've noticed that too, and even some of the higher end, rock T-shirts and stuff like that have seemed to be a little bit on the lower price side of things, especially the '90s alternative tees and things like that. And that's what led me to that question, is because I just wonder if people are just wanting to move product right now, or if they're just wanting, if there's kind of a
right. I mean, I also think maybe some of the bubble may be bursting. I don't know if there's going to be such a high-end market for some of the $600 to $1,000 T-shirts. To me, that still is always just shocking. I've not sold a shirt over $500.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of the clients I deal with, I don't see them going out and buying it. And
well, let me ask you this question: would you? And you don't have to answer, but would you buy a T-shirt for $500 or $600?
No.
See, I wouldn't either.
No.
But the part of that is because I know that if I'm patient, that I'll eventually find it for what I want. And so
could I live without it if I never found it? Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm the same way.
I have a few others that if I'm not happy with one,
I've recently talked about kind of the bubble, bursting a little bit. I've gotten on eBay and you'll see a lot of the posts. So I have certain shirts that I follow, and then I'll look and track and say, well, how long have they had it on there? And then you'll see a price, and then it'll say, or make an offer.
Right.
Well, me making offers was not the best idea, because I made a couple and then they all agreed.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no, okay, well, I guess I'm getting that T-shirt now. So, but the good thing is it's something that I am enjoying personally right now. And then, the idea is when I'm ready to move on from that, to put it back out there and let it live on, hopefully with somebody else that can enjoy it.
Hope it holds some value.
Yeah, and I think it will. Yeah, I think it'll definitely hold value. And at the end of the day, if I've enjoyed a shirt for a couple of years and I can break even when I sell it, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So well, let's get into what you brought, because I want to talk a little bit about that, and I want to talk about we'll kind of get into some other things after that.
Yeah.
So show us what you brought.
So what I brought today is a Derby T-shirt collection, and then just a few pieces that stand out to me that are that are important to me, or that really just stood out as unique Kentucky pieces. Those are probably two of my biggest collections.
So, are any of these for sale, or is this just your collection?
Everything's for sale.
Okay.
I mean, I've sold a few. Some I'm attached to more than others. So if anybody is interested, you can reach me at Warren & Company. But you'll hear after I introduce a few of them.
Okay.
I may not want to sell them. So let's see what we got.
I feel like I'm on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yeah. So I was like, so Nick, show us what you brought today.
Bring you a cardigan to put on. I guess we'll start in the back. We'll start with Kentucky stuff. So I guess I'll start with my oldest local Kentucky t-shirt. See if I'm still on camera.
Yeah, you are. You're good.
Yeah. So one of these.
You tell the story and I'll hold them afterwards.
All right. So this one here, Bluegrass Raceway. I grew up in Keene. This is from Nicholasville. The raceway actually was right off Nicholasville Road, and it was a drag strip. This shirt is probably 50s, probably 50s. And it was one of the first purchases I ever bought from Junk Pals Vintage.
Oh, yeah.
And
Kevin's got some awesome stuff.
I mean, he came into my store one day, and I just opened and introduced himself. And, I had to have it. One, I learned a little history about graphics on the front, graphics on the back, kind of as it changed over time.
What is that?
Okay, see if I can remember correctly. I think it was 40s. There would just be a small graphic on the front. 50s for racing, nothing on the front, just on the back. And then 60s, 70s, they were doing both.
Yeah.
So that
would make sense, because I mean the 50s, leading into the 50s, and I could be wrong on this. It was all about the white T-shirt. It was all about the greaser feel, but you also had to represent who you were with and what kind of club
this was probably someone that worked at the raceway.
Yeah.
Who knows where it was advertising. Cool. This one, just another Bluegrass Boys, American Legion, probably post World War II.
Yeah.
Bluegrass Boys are also John Hartford and Bluegrass Boys.
Yeah.
Bluegrass, so that kind of kicked with me as well. And
cool.
it'd be around the same time that John Hartford not John Hartford. Is it John Hartford? No, it's older bluegrass musician.
Ralph Stanley?
I can't think of it. I'm butchering it now. But anyway, the guy had played at American Legions around that time.
No, that's cool too, man, because that you got the thing I love about this kind of stuff is there's only a handful of it around.
This is a 50s champion chambray university jacket. Very light print on the front. I had 3 at one time. I took them all to 2 Keys. I had 4.
You sold them all?
Yeah. I kept one. A guy that worked with me, Matt, kept one, and then we sold the other 2. But they paid what I wanted, and the people that bought them were really stoked too.
So I saw obviously, what do you say? What era do you say? Would you say?
I think it's 50s or maybe 60s.
Yeah.
It's got a serval zipper. I'm pretty sure it's Champion. I've seen others.
Yeah, it's definitely Champion.
And so that's why I think.
Because I can tell by the bands.
It's got some age, some wear and tear.
The one of the things too. So the interesting thing about this is I just saw I'm in a group with some guys on Instagram, and somebody was selling. Did you see the 1950s Harvard Champion?
Some of those. Yeah.
With the print on the back, like you were just talking about, but it was an issue hooded sweatshirt for Harvard Athletics, and they had it for $8,000.
Yeah.
And so I think the bid was up to like 2,000 something. but
More reasonable.
but it's amazing to me. I mean, that blows my
Yeah.
mind. But you got to think. I mean, there's not.
Who knows what this would go for in auction?
But I mean, but who? Yeah, but even then, I mean, that's a piece I wouldn't get rid of because
I'm not.
because that's something that's definitely going to increase in value because there's only so many of them even in existence still.
We'll move into
Probably the 3 or 4 that you sold at Two Keys Tavern.
Yeah.
Some college kid that's
No,
probably.
those 2 girls that bought them need to know what they've got.
Oh, definitely. You should have got their numbers and reached back out to them and said,
When you're tired of this,
yeah, sell it back to me.
doesn't fit.
So
I guess we'll go back to Champion again. This is a
man,
70s
this is
blue
sick.
bar. It's like almost, to me, it's like a soccer jersey.
love that.
It's so comfortable. Wear it all the time. Again, I'm also a Peanuts fan.
Yeah, I've got a
Bought
cool.
this from Vintage Vibe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got a cool Joe Cool Peanuts hoodie. I think I told you about.
Yeah.
It's more 80. I think it might be late 70s, early 80s.
Here's another 70s going to the jersey look.
Yeah, I like that.
Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta feature that one. And then 77 Bicentennial, another favorite of mine. If
Yeah.
you're in Lexington, this logo is what is on the Lexington buses, Lexington Public.
Yeah.
It's been around since then. That's kind of
great.
cool. And then a few of the 78 championships.
Oh yeah. See, that's my favorite. Yeah, because that's the year I was born.
Yep, that's right.
I've been trying to get one off of. Well, I reached out to a guy who had one, but I don't know if he's gonna.
I may have a lead for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a guy that had the 78 champion. He wasn't ready to let go of it, but somebody I know found one. So I'm going to see if it's my size. I'm tired of buying stuff that I can't fit into. I have to start losing some weight. Dude, that's my favorite crew that you have, the white one.
This one?
Yeah. I love the Wildcat on that one. That's
Yeah,
my
so again-
favorite Kentucky logo.
I just love the all over. This one, I love how it's got the sleeves, Kentucky Wildcats. And another is 80s champion.
I feel like
Have to have a classic.
I'm doing QVC.
Right.
So we've got one more of these in
So-
stock.
Here, if you can't have enough all over print, let's just go.
We're going to
and,
drop the price on these.
You know,
Okay.
buy all 3, make me happy.
That one's crazy too, man.
Yeah.
Ah. So let me ask, so are you finding these off of collectors or just kind of out in the wild?
Let's see. This one I bought from Lord John Vintage.
Okay.
This was a while ago.
Yeah.
Early stuff. This one I found in California.
That was super cool.
Negotiated with them, and this one I don't remember where this one came
I
from.
bought a Patino's Bombinos of Lord John for like $12.
Yeah, and then of course getting into more even closer 90s.
Yes, the chalk line.
Thank you. Shout out to Max, the Vintage Plug, for selling me one of yours.
That
Appreciate
is
it, man. Especially for
crazy.
giving me one that fits me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's another thing.
Again, I love it, but I can't see myself pulling it off.
It's
Maybe.
not for sale. I'm sorry. It's not for
Maybe.
sale.
I wouldn't sell it either.
I can't.
So let's get into some of the
right.
derby tees. What do you have? Derby tees, bluegrass music,
I
or
just brought Derby, and then the other one are like some tourist shirts.
tour shirts?
Yep. And then
Let's check a couple of them out. Show the Patino shirt.
All right. So to go with the last sweatshirts, I do have the T-shirt, and then another Patino, which this is probably one of my more favorite shirts right now. As I said, I grew up around Patino. This one all over kind of has that test print look, the neon. It's great.
Yeah, I love that one too. It would be hard for me to wear the Patino shirt, but I love the graphics and the colors are crazy. I completely forgot how much neon they used back in that time period.
Yeah.
You know, even with Kentucky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I like too, they did in the 90s, the logo there is a lighter blue. It's not like a North Carolina blue, but it's a lighter blue with a darker navy.
Yeah, and then I guess, so just other things that have, to me over the years, like always been into tourist shirts. So, and so I decided to collect Lexington ones.
Yeah.
So many people have asked if this is a new shirt, why not make another one? Probably should make one of these in every color. Joy of Lex, Joy of Lou, but it's a national IQ test shirt. Also kind of interesting.
That is really cool.
Oh, Kentucky, you'll come to love it. Jenny Wiley State Park.
And see, Kentucky for Kentucky is tried
Yeah.
to remake quite a few of these, but
Yeah, if they want to hit me up, we can do a collab. I'll bring my whole collection over. We can pick out some of the best.
I love that one.
I've seen a bunch of these actually.
Really?
There's someone at Domestic has one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The problem is finding them in my size. You can
I get lucky. I can wear a lot of the.
I try to squeeze in them, and I look like.
Yeah, I got this Florida Flea, Drunken Flea, the Cumberland Falls.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Had to. It was $10. Couldn't pass.
Who had that one?
Jones.
Yeah. That one's nice. I didn't see that one. I like that one too. This one's one of my favorites because this was, correct me if I'm wrong, but was this not an 80s? Was this the 80s?
I think so.
State Park. It was like was it the Bluegrass or
Kentucky State Park, possibly?
Something like that.
I have a few Kentucky State Park and Rolex.
I don't know. I remember this shirt as a kid. I think they made it in that orange print, and then they had it in like a green maybe or a red.
Kentucky pops with the orange.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. So I guess next I'll show you the Derby collection. Kind of just started me having horse racing background, growing up around that. So then I wanted to first find all my birth year, which is 87. I wanted to find the T-shirt, a hat, the shot glass, the Derby glass.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way. I collect everything 78.
All the shirts I could with all the logo of 87. And then it just started to expand, and it wasn't just the Derby, it was the Derby Festival and the Derby Marathon. The mini marathon shirts can be fun.
That's really cool.
They're kind of a bootlegger in a sense.
Yeah, I like that.
I love when finding the official shirt. The official shirts all have the winners on the back, and then they're usually exactly like the class.
Yeah.
And then you can find the hat to match. And then there was a period actually that most of the 80s official ones were champion.
Yeah.
Yep. And they make great shirts. They're really comfortable. A few of them you can just tell that they were actually trench or champion.
Yeah.
All the official.
What's the long sleeve one?
This is the red one?
Yeah. No, the other one, the white.
So this one is not actually this is an official, but it's a long sleeve.
You don't see long sleeves much.
Not many of them. Yeah.
I like that one. I like the colors on that. What was that, 80s?
Yeah, everything I brought you is 70s and 80s. Yeah. The bootlegs are fun. This was for a brewery.
Yeah, so
the brewery.
Yeah, the brewery. It's closed now, but I saw Weezer there.
So great graphics.
Yeah,
color.
I went to the first time I ever saw Weezer. They just come out with their first album.
Here?
It was there. Yeah,
Really?
It was super fun.
No way.
Yeah, the brewery.
The brewery.
Yeah.
Louisville.
I need to find. That's what I need to find. I need to find an old brewery T-shirt.
So here's the one. This one, I was wrong. It's probably 80s. I don't know if this was late 70s, but this is exactly as the 78 class, that image. And this one's kind of similar to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used that same font for a couple of years.
Right.
That I don't really know what you even call that. It's almost.
And this is another with the back, but it's not official.
Yeah.
And then
I like
official
that one too. I like the ringer tees.
Champion.
I like the ringer tees a lot. So.
Yeah, some of the champion ones are great. They really are. This one is dead on. If you see the glass, it's red and yellow and green. Has this seal on it.
So what are you? So clearly this is your collection. What do you like to collect? Is it mostly just Derby or Kentucky related stuff, or?
Yeah, honestly, it is. A lot of Kentucky stuff, a lot of bootlegs, tourist shirts again.
That's my favorite.
This is probably one of your favorites. The infield shirt.
I love this.
This one here. They're paper thin, both of these.
Yeah. I might need to get one of these off of you.
Yeah.
I like
They are big. I mean,
they're long. That one's looks like a dress.
Yeah.
But
the long, large
check out the guy's pants. His pants say Ohio State.
Right. And then also you've got Kentucky right there. That's the classic. Do it right here. XXX. I don't even know what that. Turtle or dog?
Yeah, it's got to be. That's a dog.
Then there's the drunk guy, the guy getting sick over here, sticking a tongue out. Goodwill. Goodyear, sorry. The Goodwill blimp.
That's crazy. Yeah, I love this one. I'm with you, man. I'd say I like the uniqueness of T-shirts. I'll tell you something I've been big on right now is really trying to find the parking lot tees.
Yeah, early.
Those are the ones that really jump out to me. I think it's kind of amazing that the parking lot tees have better graphics than the actual tees they sold in the concert.
Or they're just a complete mess.
Yeah.
And it's still fun just because you can tell that it was very amateurly done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what makes it.
We talked about you'll still collect shirts that have like a misprint or.
Yeah. I like those because for me, it's about finding the shirt that not everybody has.
Here's it's probably the oldest bootleg I have of Derby shirts.
Yeah.
It's just on that 70s fantasy, like a lot of 70s concert shirts for that. There's two that look like they came out of a parking lot at concert. Same black and white raglan.
You can definitely tell. Look at the lines of the drawing, how thick it is here and thin it is there.
And then the this there overlap.
But you know what? That Kentucky logo, look at the colors in that Kentucky.
Great.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the coloring in a lot of the bootlegs, for sure. So what about like concert tees and things like that? I know you came up on a big collection of concert tees from I think a
radio station.
Yeah, radio station recently.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the one you sold me. I've worn it a couple times.
Awesome.
But
Very you.
Yeah, I mean it. I love.
What year did you say it was? It was 88.
It's 80. Well, it's 86. And it's cool because I don't, obviously you just kind of guess at some of these things, but with the logo on the back with the football player and catching the boom box. So Raising Hell by Run DMC came out in 86, and then Beastie Boys dropped theirs in 87.
Right.
So with the football player, I'm guessing the fall of 86, beginning of
Right.
87 is when Beastie Boys. So I'm thinking that it was some type of promo team. I want to believe that, but
I've never seen a football player catching a boom box in full pads like this.
But that's what I love because I mean, two things. I mean, I love football and I love music. So those two things coming hand in hand are just.
And that's
crazy.
Again another fun part about it. When I got all those, I took a little video and I sent it to a couple friends.
Yeah.
And, you were one of the few friends that was like, gotta have this.
Oh yeah.
Luckily, nobody was pointing at the same thing.
Well, the West One radio is really cool on the front. The logo with the W with my last name being Wills.
Right.
So I love that. I love that part of it too. And as crazy as this sounds, obviously, that logo on the back, I haven't decided because I'm getting some more artwork done, but I might get that football player with that boom box because
and make it as your logo.
Well, no, I mean artwork on my body.
Oh,
yeah,
even cooler.
Yeah,
gotta let me know.
So,
that'll be a first for me. I don't think I've ever sold a T-shirt that someone didn't put on their.
Well, I want unique things and things that kind of really tell a story, my story. So I know I've got a couple ideas of some things that Robert, my tattoo artist, is working on, but I don't that keeps standing out to me, and I don't have a Kentucky tattoo. So I'm a diehard UK fan. So I'm probably going to get that logo that I pointed out there earlier. That's my favorite logo. So I'll probably get that one. I don't want to get the dick tongue.
Cat.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the cat because I just it just speaks to me better.
I personally wouldn't put big U and K lettering on me either.
No.
I would go with an animal or something in that direction.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. I want to go more from a Wildcat standpoint. So, okay, man. Well, listen, let's talk about. So we're kind of redoing this whole interview, but let's talk a little bit of one of the things I do at the end of every interview is kind of a PSA. So it doesn't really relate to the current situation of things that are going on. It can relate to what we do from a vintage standpoint, just anything. But what is Nick's PSA right now? What would your PSA to the people be?
Mine is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to forward on some advice that was given to me when I opened the store. Jay Peterman, local legend, store owner, designer, just all around really interesting. He's just like the most interesting man.
Oh, yeah.
He lived the life. He said to me, make sure that no matter what, when you're buying and source what you like and only what you like. And if you're accepting it, comfortable with it, have an ability to sell it, that's what you picked out of it when you chose it. And he said that's what, in order to formulate your vision, your business, your brand, whatever it may be, is as long as you're staying true to yourself and true to what you like. And by that, I mean, you don't have to follow trends. Don't go out and buy all the all over print shirts you can because they're really selling hot right now, or whatever it may be. If you're staying true to yourself, who knows, you may identify a trend that hasn't even picked up yet, or you may be on something that you may find a group of people that are also into.
Yeah.
And so with that advice, I think I've definitely found my following, found my group, created my brand, true to myself, and made things a lot easier on myself.
Yeah.
I haven't had the big risks. I haven't taken enormous risks that I'm not confident in.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I mean, we can talk about Jay Peterman off camera, but yeah, he I mean, just when I think of him and what he did here in Lexington, my mom was an avid follower of his, and
yeah,
shopped at his store. And one of the reasons that she always did is because she knew that she could buy something there, and it wouldn't be what everybody else had.
Yeah.
And so, that's great advice, and I need to probably take that in myself, because I get caught up sometimes in the trends,
right,
and the selling and what's popular. And I think we kind of all do sometimes get a little bit lost in that. And I find what it is I buy stuff that I don't really feel comfortable, like I don't care about, or I'm not passionate about. And so it sits there a lot longer because I'm not.
You're not able to upsell it.
Yeah,
and you're not able to say, I would wear this shit.
Yeah.
So, or I would love,
So I think
pair this with that.
That's kind of led me into where I'm at now, with this quarantine and all this hitting. I thought, okay, what can I do that I feel that excites me and I can be passionate about? So this kind of led me into doing what I'm doing now with the podcast and talking with other people and getting different ideas and just hearing their story. And I think,
and you got a following. These are great. I'm so happy you're doing it.
I think the key is, like, for you, like everybody, you mentioned this, I think when we first started, you said, I'm running around the fleas and stuff with my bag and everything. And people might just know Nick as that person and not know who you truly are.
Yeah.
And, I think that's the cool thing. And what I'm hoping to accomplish with all this is to get people to tell their story and to get to know them outside of what they do.
We may not have that chance to, take 5 to 10 minutes when I meet a new vendor to say, hey, where are you from? What are you into?
Yeah.
Really figure them out. You really, in vintage, you really meet a person by what they sell.
Yeah.
You walk in their booth. This is them. You kind of get a feel for their tastes, their likes, and to me, that's how it all works. So I think I've definitely learned who I love doing business with and dealing with, and who my repeat, people I'm going to buy from again are going to be just by their own taste.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, man. I mean, the thing I love about this is the networking. We've got a good little family here in Lexington with everybody.
Everybody's different too.
Yeah, we're still trying to create that and build that up. But I think at the end of the day, we're all kind of getting to know each other and becoming friends from that standpoint. And vintage is just icing on the cake, to say. I mean, it's just something we all have in common. So, you want to talk a little bit about the books that we got here?
Yeah, no, I almost forgot I brought these. I will say when I started that I bought all the books I could. because pricing can be difficult, and sometimes you come across something that you may not have any tags on, and the only way to identify it is by how the garment was made, date, place of origin, zippers, buttons, stuff like that. So I definitely say that I've really benefited by studying and doing my homework and buying some of these books here, and just really, when I'm looking and hunting, now that this one's a great example, Americana Vintage. It's made by Lightning Clutch Magazines. You can order them online and Amazon. There is English in some of them. Most of it's in Japanese. I use Google Translate, take a picture and read it.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for some of these magazines, I wouldn't have known some of the true value of some larger pieces. Just classic Americana, old. Yep.
Yeah.
Had to go into tackle box. $200 pieces.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
collector's item. Turquoise jewelry, hats, tags, to lamps, jackets, everything, different types of denim and patterns. So this book has really been, this is just kind of classic Americana items that are collectible and that all fetch pretty high prices.
Yeah. And see, that's the cool thing too, man. You can't really take the internet. You can't gauge a price.
Yeah, it's really hard to gauge auction sales or listing prices. Listing prices are listed because they're not sold.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes on eBay auctions, there may be someone like us that swiped something up for a steal, or there may be something that did get a true value. So it's hard. I think at store prices.
And I think these books, the cool thing about it too is it helps you understand the textile aspect of it, and really what the rarity of a product or something is, how many of them were made.
This one is almost like a Bible. It covers every brand, rivets and buttons, labels and shirts and everything. I mean, they really break it down well.
Yeah.
And I've got a few others that I've shared with some, or maybe you. I know Shonda and them. I've dropped off to them to help identify that. Really goes over zippers and tags and states of where things are made. So they help. If you're getting into it, there are some forums online that you can go on and send pictures out and try and get some help from people elsewhere. But just getting out and teaching yourself is really the best.
That's the key, man. Yeah. Educating yourself and learning as much as you can. A couple other people I've had
go in stores, go in shops and see. Something priced in Louisville is going to be priced different in New York City and Nashville or Florida or wherever. So I always, if I'm traveling, I will probably make a list of each city and try and hit all the stores I can. It's just like it's constant, flipping homework. You flip through the racks and you learn what's worth what.
And I've been, obviously sometimes it's hard to predict or project what a trend would be, especially with the way stuff. I mean, now you got the early 2000 stuffs that are bringing, $50, $60, $70, which just blows my mind because, we've seen them all sitting there on the rack for a while. And in my mind, it's obviously it's trend and it's popular and people are trying to push that, I think, out there a little bit, but in my mind, it's not true. It's not truly vintage to what.
It's not that old.
Yeah, it's not really that old. But also, you talked about learning and from others. I mean, Jay Peterman being a good, mentor for you. I know you talked about that in the past.
Kevin, he's a great one.
That's what I was going to say, and that's one of the things that I have found to be the most helpful is really getting other people's take on something and having that trust factor to know that I could send a picture to you or send a picture or something to Kevin and say, hey, you got any more knowledge around this? Because, and you're going to be open and honest with me and not, say, oh, it's not worth anything. I'll give you $20 for it. And then it's $100 shirt.
Well, you're dead on. I do operate in that way. I have a few friends across the country, different vintage dealers that one may specialize in militaria, one may specialize in 40s to 70s. Another person may know his sneakers and top 90s. And I really do. I rely on those people. And y'all know who you are. I'm not shouting their names out. But
don't give your sources.
We have that tight connection, and it's valuable. It really is. building that relationship is valuable.
I think so. Learning from others, you know, and doing your history and research from books and things like that. Because sometimes the internet is a very reliable source, but it's not always truthful. Yeah. Exactly. So, well, Nick, man, I appreciate it. One of the other things we do, your PSA was spot on. It's perfect. You know, I think I need to do better at doing that myself and buying kind of what I'm interested in and trying to focus on that.
We're gonna check out your collection after this. So.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah. You haven't
he's
seen
probably
it yet.
spot on. You know,
my collection is all over the place, so it's an absolute mess. But we'll
it's
definitely
okay.
check some things out. But so one of the other things I do real quick is just a heat check. We'll do this and kind of use this as a promotion for the podcast. So I'll ask you just a couple quick questions. I think we did this last time when it messed up. So I don't know if you can remember what those were, but if not, just whatever you're feeling this week. So we'll start it off with who's your celebrity crush?
Yeah, you know, I put a little more thought into this, and I had to throw it back to Becky from Full House, or that's one that's one of the top.
Yeah.
What was her name?
You can go visit her in jail.
Right, you're right. But back then, her. And I think again, you know, I was old Topanga. I had a crush on her when I was growing up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah,
there are a few others.
That was her personality for sure.
Everybody loves Jennifer Aniston on Friends.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Jennifer Aniston for sure. So, what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, if I'm gonna be nostalgic, I love Home Alone.
Yeah,
always the first one's classic.
Even not during Christmas, it's a good,
exactly all year round. It makes you laugh. You know, just the other day, actually, I might watch E.T. soon because I saw it was listed on Netflix or somewhere.
I haven't seen E.T. My kids never liked it growing up, but I had seen it since I watched it when it came out at the drive-in. Yeah. I remember my parents and we went after church one Sunday and watched E.T. I remember that, and I don't know that I've seen it since, so I need to rewatch that too.
So that's on the list to rewatch, but there's a couple I really like. I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan.
Yeah, me too.
Any of his, even all the small ones, like I love Four Rooms.
Yeah.
That one, or Bellhop and New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Tarantino's great for sure. But favorite music, band, something.
When I was younger, I really loved Led Zeppelin, and gotten older, it's more bluegrass rock. So I love Grateful Dead, but also huge kind of support my boy Tyler Childers and Town Mountain and bluegrass and the Weeks, and I like rock and roll, country, bluegrass, Americana, whatever you call it.
The Wooks.
Rap,
I took a picture of my hat Friday night. We were all out here at the fire pit, and I took a picture and tagged the Wooks in it, not thinking that they would post it. They posted it in the story, so I was pretty amped about that.
Hey, I've got my Wooks t-shirt collection too.
Yeah.
Got the first Wooks tee.
But what's your favorite bourbon?
I really like Weller 12. That's good shit. Yeah, like Weller 12 and Fitzgerald, Bullet Rye.
Yeah, I like the Bullet. Bullet's probably my go-to, just on a normal
Bullet Rye
basis.
is kind of my go-to. I like Buffalo Trace as a go-to.
Yeah, Elmer T. Lee's my favorite out of all. But it's not that easy. A nice bottle in the wild. Did you really?
Yeah, coming back from Nashville, I found a bottle of Blanton's.
Oh wow!
First stop, right there.
Yeah, that's nice. What? Let's see. The last question. This is not so much of a heat check; it's kind of a drawn out. But what's your favorite thing to do outside of thrifting and kind of vintage and things like that?
I like getting out into nature. I like hiking. Go exploring. Finding abandoned houses and picking old creeks and going hikes and stuff like that. I think that's just natural to me growing up on a farm, being from here. So, if I get a day of spare time, I'm going to try and go to the gorge or go down Kentucky River and explore.
I love it.
Love it. Love being out in nature. Just be out there with my dog. So
that's awesome, brother. Well, listen, I appreciate it, man. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll probably try to release this tomorrow, since it was supposed to be released a couple of weeks ago.
Round two, here it is.
But round 2 is even better. So I appreciate it, Nick, and thanks, man. So I hope you enjoyed episode number 12 with my buddy Nick of Warren & Company. Nick's PSA was really cool. He's just, focus on what you like and what you enjoy buying and selling. And I think when you do that, that makes things a lot easier. We talked a little bit about that in the podcast, but I know for me, I get out of my comfort zone a little bit from a standpoint of buying stuff that I'm not really passionate about, and a lot of times it's a little bit more difficult for me to put out there and really tell the story behind it. So I hope everybody's doing well. Things are getting back to normal, and I'm really enjoying it. If you guys are enjoying the podcast, let me know. Send me a direct message via Instagram. Share it on your stories. Share it with your friends. But let's try to get this out there as much as we possibly can. And also, if you know of anybody that you'd like to hear me interview, reach out to me. Let me know. Send me a message regarding that person, and I'd love to sit down with them if they're open to the idea. So I'll see everybody next week. I hope everybody's happy and healthy, and talk to you later.
This running's gonna keep me sane. Get me drinking that moonshine. Get me higher than the grove.